Well, hello there, blade fans, and welcome back to This Old Sword Blade Reviews. And what you see on the table here in front of you are some of my more favorite 3 to 3.5 inch to maybe stretching that up to 4-inch small fixed blade knives. But we're going to talk about these later. Whoop, there goes the camera. We're going to talk about these later if I don't knock everything down. The topic today is in this box from Auxilliary Manufacturing, made in Reno, Nevada, USA. Michael Jarvis is the custom maker. He makes this beautiful Karl Jr. There is a full-size Karl. This is the Karl Jr. This was designed by a police officer, a law enforcement officer, familiar to Michael. Mike, I think we can call him Mike Jarvis, right? If he prefers Michael, he can let me know. Here is the blade, and it's a beauty. It is made out of AEBL. I believe I've got that right because I keep wanting to call it AELB. AEBL, which is akin to 14C28N, but I understand a little tougher. He hardens these to Rockwell 61.5. Yes, very nice for those of you who are cranking about the high quality steels being done at a softer HRC. And this knife is really beautiful in the hand. It is right-sized for me. I could get into the full-size Karl, and I think I might at some point, but this is just perfect. In a world where a lot of small knife makers who want to give you a small, either pocketable or concealable fixed blade, are shortchanging you on the handles just a bit, and that's my complaint, but maybe someone else's positive criticism. I love the size of this handle. He did it exactly right for my hand. Of course, we all have different hands. Beautiful heavy stonewash on this steel. About a 2/3 or so, half to 2/3 flat grind, and sharpened quite nicely. Nice piercy point. Make sure the background knives don't take over the focus here, which is what will happen because of contrast detection on the autofocus. Nice thick stock, and the highlight of the knife, I think, from a visual perspective, is the incredible faceted kind of stone patterned carbon fiber that was done on this knife. You can faintly see the pins here. I think the pins may be a black G10. Balance is beautiful in the hand. It's actually a little handle heavy. If I look for that point, it's right about there, but feels great. And the bonus, put it point down, P-call position, and it is perfect. The way that that pommel rounds and you can lay your thumb over it. And the index finger comes right up under that bird's beak. Yes, I'm calling it a bird's beak. Very Filipino in design, the way a lot of the daggers and swords are done for the Filipino martial arts, but really for Philippine combat back in the day. I'm going to measure it up, and hopefully the background there doesn't mess with the focus. If it does, I'll move those out of the way until it's time to look at them. It is a 7-inch knife overall. It is a 3-inch blade. It is a 3 3/4 inch cutting edge, roughly. The handle at the widest point, and I'll kind of angle that, is a 0.58. That's good and hand filling. And the blade stock in inches is 0.12 or 3.2 millimeters. Very, very nice. We are going to need to move these for the weight, so I can put the scale in place and have it be accurate. So the weight alone of the knife is only 3.5 ounces. We'll call that 3.5. With the sheath, 5 ounces. Very nice. And not too heavy and not exactly feather light. Comes in this, it's not a DCC clip per se, but it is very close to being functionally a DCC clip, except it doesn't have that extra little piece on the base of the clip. This fits nicely over the belt, but you see it does have that little hook there. So it's grabby, and when you slide it into the pocket or the pants, it works out just fine. I can drop this easily fully into my pocket and have it disappear, which is the way I like it, and I would actually just leave this clip on there to be able to thumb it off. Since the sheath itself does not have a thumb off provision, that's fine. The clip will do just fine. So we've got some knives to compare here, which I said are my favorite. Here's the Unmei from RMJ. This is going to be bigger, a good deal of 1.5 inches bigger. It's not really in the same classification as this knife, but I brought it out anyway because I just love the knife. It's so beautifully done. This is from Magna Cut, stone washed, heavily stone washed, beautifully sharp blade. And comes with the scout carry type straps, but you can take one off and carry it inside the waistband. You can add a DCC clip, an ulti clip, what have you. Also amongst my recent favorites is this beautiful knife from Bastianelli, and it is the Foreigner. Interesting name. This is another extremely ergonomic knife. It is flatter across. I don't know if you can really see that. I don't know if I'm talking correctly on that or not, but yeah, it is. It's only a 0.4 across, very thin, and one of the most easily pocketable knives there is. Bastian Coves does tremendous design work. You can see all the jimping on this one, even out to the point there. And it's got that kind of a Sachs style blade that he likes to use on a lot of his fixed blade defensive knives. Perfect fit in the hand. And right in there about the same size, slightly larger than the Karl Jr. That's Karl with a K. The joke was it had something to do with a porn star. Nonetheless, here is the Street Beat, the standard by which they should all be compared. Designed by Fred Perrin for Spyderco. And if we line these guys up, we have pretty much the same. A little longer blade on the Street Beat if we push it out to there. But, you know, more or less the same size knife. And kind of a Bowie clip. I don't know if you call it a Bowie, but it's definitely a clip point. There you can see Perrin design. And moving on down the line, we can't discuss small defensive knives without talking about Tim Kell's work out of Georgia. And this is the Nighthawk with a ring. Still kind of I don't know, I love rings because you can snatch them out of the sheath real easily. No delay. But still deciding whether or not I'm a ringed knife fan or not. Tim certainly does make them with and without rings. And you can see because of the ring on this one, essentially it's that much longer, about an inch. The blade is a wee bit longer, about a ½ inch. So we got about a 3.5 inch blade, got a 3-inch blade. Last but not least, certainly, is the Williams Oso Rocco Zukuri Mini Kaiken. And as far as a neutral handle goes, in a really neat multi-purpose defensive knife, EDC knife, this is certainly it. It's a Sleipner steel. I think it's roughly the equivalent. It is not stain resistant, but it is roughly, I think, the equivalent in the cutlery world as far as edge holding and so forth goes to the AEBL used in the Karl Jr. And yeah, it's coming up on about a ½ inch longer overall. And about a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch longer. It's a 3.5 inch blade, so we're going to call it a ½ inch longer blade. I know the stats on this one. Comes in a beautiful push-off sheath. This is what some makers are still not doing. I have to compliment Tim Kell because he definitely does it on all of his knives. He even puts little notches there in the thumb ramp. Pop those babies off real easy. And as I said, this is a Bolteron sheath, by the way. It's a beautifully done, thick Kydex style sheath. Kydex and Bolteron. My understanding is that Bolteron is a little more heat resistant, won't lose its shape in the heat than Kydex, but that's about as much as I know. Certainly looks kind of leathery. It's got a beautiful surface finish on it. Lots of grommets all the way around. We've got 5 on that side, 5 on this side. You can easily remove this with the Chicago screws and put on what you want, really, or just be without the clip and just, then you could thumb it here. So there's no actual thumb off raised portion there, but that's raised enough that you can slide it off just by sliding your thumb down the back of the knife. So no problems there. Definitely holds in tight enough to where if you wanted to suspend it with a lanyard around your neck, you could do that. But let's take one last walk around here. It is just, the ergos on this handle are just amazing. That's why I wanted to check out the full-size Karl, the 4-inch one, because I think that's going to be absolutely amazing as well. Love the stone pattern, jimping or really texturing that he puts on the top here. He ends it soon enough so that he can do that perfect grind for that point. Look at that. And still plenty of meat. Piercy, definitely. Plenty of meat. Plenty of edge, absolutely. Got a little scrap of paper here. I don't know how it'll do. Well, there we go. She's sharp. She won't be cutting paper, though. She may be cutting other things. Again, another look at that real shiny, beautiful, faceted carbon fiber. Makes the knife, I mean, makes a very utilitarian knife just a little bit pretty, you know, in kind of a prehistoric sort of a way. Great handle. Fantastic job. Highly recommend the knives coming out of Auxilliary Manufacturing and Mike Jarvis. So if there's anything you'd like to know, I'm going to leave you the link to his website and specifically to this knife. And he rotates his inventory. Some things are, you know, he basically runs his knives in batches, so they're not always all going to be available. But as of this date, and let's see, this is going to drop on the 5th of September, 2023. He still has at least one of these, maybe more of these left, and he just came back from the gathering in Las Vegas, and might actually have brought back a few things with him. Can't believe he didn't completely sell out, and maybe he did. But anyway, there you go. Check out Auxiliary Manufacturing and the Karl Jr. and the full-size Karl. Be well, take care. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe.